Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Now, the good news of being an Arsenal fan at this moment in time, two midfielders look to be joining the club this window. Well, this week specifically, this in regards to this window. To Lucas Torreira and Guendouzi. I cannot say his name, Guendouzi, however you want to say the man's name. Matteo Guendouzi of currently of Lorient, but soon to commit a 5-year deal, like Torreira, subject to medical. So when you look at our window on a whole at this moment in time, I mean, it does. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do have a feeling of underwhelmingness, people, and I can't quite put my hand on it. And I mean, it's not underwhelmingness per se, because I look on the basis of the spine needed to be improved. Would I have went for Leno? I'd say no, but to a degree, it's like I've said before, it's the best we could probably do within reason. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and name other targets, because the keepers, the elite keepers, we clearly ain't got the bands for that, or we might have the bands, but they're not available for transfer to free up for transfers. So the keeper thing, Leno, I guess on the basis that Czech, sad to say, I don't like to rub out Czech because I believe he's a model professional in everything he does, but Peter Cech obviously is declining. Leno, we need a keeper in it, so there's there. Again, Socrates. Now, I've got nothing against the man. He's vocal. He's someone that's consistent to a degree. I have seen him get destroyed on the football pitch, so he's not the messiah. And on one hand, he can't do much worse than how Koscielny and Mustafi have been going in last season, so he can't do much worse. On the basis that if he can just be competent and consistent and just defend, which we haven't seen in the last 18 months, then cool, we've got no worries. But we would have probably said the same about him. Liechtenstein, he's a backup. We don't need to get into specifics about him. Man might have said the same, although there's benefits and on the whole of it. So what? There's Leno, there's a centre-half in Socrates. Allegedly, another centre-half could be coming in. But like I said, Leno, Socrates, Liechtenstein, Torreira, Guendouzi on paper, that's 4 signings. I might be missing someone else out. If Ramsey signs a new deal, it's some decent business, and yeah, he gets a decent squad to work with. But El Nene's future might be in fact, before I get on to El Neny, which the topic's about, yeah, on one hand, that it's underwhelming. I mean, it's good that we've gone for the spine, but on the other hand, it's underwhelmingness. Like, because yeah, I can't fault a club for going and fixing up the spine and going and fixing what's needed to be, but will these make us a better side? On one hand, you can say yes, because ultimately, if we're competent, consistent, can defend and can score goals, and I always say top 6, well, the top 6, you should be able to believe you can get top 4 and win the league. So you would say yes. But if we take a more cynical approach, you'd say no, because you look at, like, not even, well, a long way off City. So let me list our neighbours, Spurs, not to gas them because they get a lot of praise and already, but look at Spurs. 3 of their centre-halves, their best 3 centre-halves in Sanchez, Toby and whatnot, walking to the side. In fact, arguably apart from Monreal, and you could even, because Rose hasn't been there, that whole back 5, Spurs is back 5 walks in there on this current moment on paper. If these men are consistent and competent and whatever happens, then we might revisit this topic. But you look at that. Liverpool, I do believe we both have poor defences, so I won't cast them. Eric Bailly walks into our defence. So you can say on one hand, because the club's gone and fixed the spine, or tried to fix the spine, it's been good. But on the other hand, it's underwhelmingness, because some of these players might not be good enough to take us to the next level. Some people could class it as penny pinching. Some people could class it as, yeah, we're just working within our means, and this is the current model that Arsenal is. So you can forget trying to be like Liverpool and grabbing Fabinho and whether they got Fekir or not. All of them sort of things in it. It's not going to be like that. El Neny's future, obviously, I do believe I would keep El Neny, but probably him and Mustafi, and yeah, Perez, Jenkinson, or Spina, a couple of these little, Welbeck might even be sold because of his contract stuff, might be sold to raise funds and free up wages. But El Neny might find him, like Mustafi to a degree. I feel El Neny's career is in the balance at this club, because Mustafi's a bit different, because part of you feels this time, I was happy when we signed him, but part of you feels we might as well just cut it quits now. I mean, yeah, you could say he's aggressive, he's good in a challenge. There's something there to work with Mustafi. Like, there's something vaguely in him, you could say, to persist with him. On the other hand, 35 million. You've had patches with spells where you've gone through good form, but on a general basis, you've been unreliable. You've been someone we can't count upon, and there's been no improvement. So we could, depending on Unai Emery, if he works his magic with Mustafi, it could be we just free up wages and call it quits. There was rumours Juventus are interested in him. He did try to join Inter Milan last year, allegedly. Now, Italy, he's played there before. It's a great way of life and all of them things there. So you can forgive him for wanting to make that move. So do we allow him to go and raise funds? El Neny that could be classed for El Neny as well, because I mean, El Neny's been a squad player since he's essentially been here. I've got his performances. When he joined in 15-16, he only made 11 Premier League appearances. I believe he joined in January, so we have to allow him. 16-17 season, last season that's gone, he made 32. He made 32 appearances. 32 appearances. 13 in the league. 16-17, he made 14 appearances, 24 in all appearances in all competitions. Within Arsenal, he's made 72 appearances in total. I mean, he's made, throughout his whole career here, he's made the equivalent of one season in 38 games. So yeah, the bulk of them coming in cup competitions. And if we were to look under the microscope even more, how many of them did he start? Last season, he did his thing. Obviously, towards the end, he got injured and it was a race against time to make the World Cup. But he was competent and consistent and deserved his place in the side. But if you're being real, Neny has been nothing more than a squad player. He should be nothing more than a squad player. As he's backed up, in 3 years, he's only made 38 Premier League appearances. So that's the equivalent of a season for free. So what does that tell you? He's a good player. Like I said, he can play defensive mid. He can play a bit more box-to-box, even deep line. I'd keep him in the squad because it's a big season. It's a long season. Depending on how far you go in cup competitions, you need a big squad. Ultimately, players are going to get injured. Players are going to get suspended. Players are going to go through loss of form. Neny might not be the most glamorous, but he adds something to the side. I mean, you look at, on a squad basis, he allows us to shut games out. He allows us to waste time. He allows us to rotate. You've got to consider these things, people. Games, we're going to go through a hard season of highs and lows, and games where I'm going to be here reviewing games where we don't know how we won, games where we shouldn't have lost, but we somehow managed to lose. You know how it is as an Arsenal fan. So Neny, for me, is nothing more than a squad player. And if I was a manager, I'd honestly have to sit him down similar to Wilshere and tell him, listen, I'll give you every chance. If you earn your spot, fair enough. But I don't think you're going to figure in the bulk of my plans because, like you've seen, Unai Emery's spoken highly of Maitland-Niles. Jack has been described as important and given a new deal. Ramsey is well documented his how vital he could potentially be to Unai Emery. Torreira's joining the club, as is Matteo Guendouzi. So that's 5 players. Neny, that's 6. Again, if we play 3 in midfield, that's a pivot of 3 players. That's cool. People can play. If it's that's a 3 in midfield. If we play 2, that's a pivot. Depending on where Ozil is going to be situated, you could add him into the mix. So no matter how much you like a player or whatever, there's only a certain amount of games people can play. Sorry for shaking it, people. When you consider he's been given the number 4 shirt, he's been given a new contract. Keep it 100. He played quite well last year towards the end. So when you consider all of these things, is it fair? Is it harsh? You could say yes, because he's had a good season last year. He's going to come back from pre-season, come back to pre-season, and he might not have a career. The club might have moved forward. He's probably gone on holiday at the wrong time, and you can see why he's probably doing warm-ups and stuff. I mean, doing workouts on his holiday because he played for Egypt. Because a couple players are gonna be rested during the World Cup. So what does that mean? Unai Emery has to work with some players existing in the side already that haven't gone to the World Cup, like Maitland now. So he could already see how they figure in their plans. Have you ever heard the term people out of sight, out of mind? That could be on any. So yeah, out of all of these midfielders, he'd probably be the one I'd use the least in terms of I could probably, again, he wants to play football. The man's 26 in later this month. But I look at it as, I'm not saying he's a weak character because he's not, but I could probably see him as a person that if I'm the manager, I could probably have the easiest time not giving you games, justifying not giving you games. You're probably the easiest person I could sit down and say, I'm not giving you games, and you can make enough noise. So in short, people, I would keep him. I believe he could be used, but yeah, man can only play a certain amount of games. If he wants to leave, then I think he can leave. We have tried to sell him before, and I must admit, people, if I hear 20 million plus, we should be getting more in today's market. If I hear 20 million, then he can go. So he should be available for the right price. So while I wouldn't force him out of the side, what we plan to do with him could be a bit booky, or it will shape how we're trying to move. Because if we sell him, does that mean we're going to go for someone in some position that's more lucrative or will improve the squad on a more rapid basis? I don't know. But if I'm looking at Unai Emery and he's concluded he's done all his business and he's on the market for a super player in whatever position, then you'd probably think, Neny 20 million, Mustafi at a push 20, maybe even make our money back on that. Perez 15 or so, Jenkinson just to get him off the wages. These are the Ospina might leave. These are the sort of man you're trying to raise funds around. And Welbeck with this contract stuff, his career could be in the balance. I would keep Wells, but I'd also sell Wells, but that's for another day. So we'll see how things develop, people. But yeah, man, Neny might return from pre-season and find he ain't got a spot, and it would be a kick in the teeth considering, like I said, new deal, number 4 shirt, had a good season until it ended poorly. But he is a squad player, and he is a squad player. There's nothing wrong with being a squad player. I know us Arsenal fans, we're weird when it comes to, we want a lot of options, but we don't like a lot of players in the squad. I know I'm guilty of that as well, because we always think, oh, how's he going to get games and blah, blah, blah. There's enough games to be played, man, but Una Emery is the man in the position to make, and the good news is, me and you guys, we just react to it and talk about it. But on that note, guys, deluded, get a comment, subscribe, and do the rest. Thank you for watching. Sadly, I'm out, though. I'm out.